What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Northside Plug.
Northside Plug, baby!
Northside Plug. Welcome y'all back to another episode here at Q4 Radio. We got a great show for you tonight. We got Clark Street Collective back with us. Welcome.
Hey yo!
Great to have them back. It's been about, we were talking about it before. It's been about a year and a half.
Yeah.
Since we had them at the last spot. It's been a long time. We've all changed in crazy ways since then. So it's going to be a good show. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to get to an interview with them, but of course, as always, we'll start with sports as we do. We're going to get into the World Series. We're going to get into the first night of NBA reactions. Of course, a lot of excitement from those first games. Game 1 of 82, you got to get to see the picture. We'll talk about that, though. But as always, make sure you follow us on all your favorite social medias. Thank you to everyone tuning into YouTube, as always. We appreciate you. YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram are all the same. Northside Plugged. Twitter, NSPlug312. I told y'all I'd get that popping soon. It's still a work in progress. I got some great ideas for it, though. I'm just hiding them in the rear
cooking
views.
them up.
As always. We got Justice to my right. We got G Money, G Note. And we'll introduce the other guys later, unless they want to get anything. We got Jim. We got from G Note's side to the other side. We got Jimmy. We got Noah. We got Mitch, and we got John running in the background with the camera. What's up, fellas?
Hey, it's good, brother. Thanks for having us.
Feeling, man.
We're feeling good. Feeling good. We just had some pies, some beers. You know, yeah, we're good. We're good.
That's a good Thursday to do it.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Well, we'll get into the interview with those guys, but of course, we get into the sports aspects of these. First thing I want to talk about is the World Series. As everyone knows, I'm a big baseball supporter. Always been a big baseball fan. And this World Series has not disappointed me so far, honestly. I don't know if anyone else has been watching. I've watched both games so far. The Washington Nationals have beaten the two best pitchers in baseball in their home ballpark and have taken a commanding 2-0 series lead. And it's almost feels like a team of destiny at this point. There are years where, like, when the Red Sox won in 04, they were just like a team of destiny that for a place that hasn't been in that spot in so long or just never reached that championship. Because what was it? I think the history of Washington baseball, they left in like the 40s or the 50s. No, they had a team until the 60s. That team just disbanded. Then the Expos were in Montreal. They moved to Washington in 2005. So they've been in Washington in the same ballpark for about 15 years or so since they revitalized as the Washington Nationals. So technically it's their first World Series appearance, but it's the first World Series in Washington, D.C. since 1933.
Wow. Damn.
Which is unbelievable. You love to see stories like that.
Baseball.
We love to see stories about that. Because just like the Cubs, 106. The last time the Cubs won the World Series before 2016 was 1948 or 1946, I think. So it's just like those long years of nothingness.
No, it was over 100.
No. They didn't. They won it in 1916. No. But they were in the World Series in 1946. They lost to the Yankees. It's all good.
Bad for the Yankees.
Just feels so long.
Oh man. Oh, that's actually. I want to side note on that real quick. Saturday.
108 win season.
Saturday night. I was back home this weekend, back in Massachusetts in the homeland. Shouts out to all my homies back in Massachusetts. It was great to be there with all my family and stuff like that. Thank you all for tuning in an hour later at almost 11 o'clock. I appreciate you all for tuning in. We were at the bar, and so the Astros, I don't know if you guys remember, the Astros were up 2 runs in the top of the ninth. They only had to get a couple outs to win the series. And DJ LeMahieu, it's a 2-run homer to tie the game. And my friend Sean Fleming, he wasn't here, but shouts out to Flem. He was like, dude, this guy's either going to hit a home run or strike out here. Next pitch, he hits one out, and I start yelling at him. I was like, what are you doing, dude? He's like, no. He's like, I called it, though. And I was like, whatever. And the bottom of the ninth came around, and Jose Altuve has been the best player in baseball for the past like 10 years. He is an animal at the plate. The guy's like 5'6", and he just racks up hits. It's unbelievable to watch him play. He's one of my favorite players to watch, no doubt about it. To see him end the Yankees season like that on a Saturday night when I was already feeling a little tipsy, it was amazing.
Yeah, you was sipping, bro.
when I go home, you know my friends are always not gonna let me go without sipping a little bit.
And
Couple, 2 tree beers. Maybe. two or three beers. 2 or 3 beers.
All right.
But yeah, seeing that, man, that was a great way to be home with all my friends to see the Yankee season. I actually started a Yankee suck chant in the bar as a classic Boston person, just like starting in the bar. There was a live band going at the same time, so it didn't get as much traction as I hoped for. Well, there were a few people who got involved. At least my friends did, so that's all that really mattered.
The effort was what counted.
But man, to see the Astros go from being the Yankees, I thought the winner of the ALCS was going to win the whole thing. But now the Nationals have just kind of taken over, and their bats are just waking up. They're hitting this pitching that's been so unhittable all season long. They're not striking out, which is what they
funny how that works? You know what I mean? How it's just like some players like step up to the plate, no pun intended. Like when the situation arises like that.
Right. That's why I say that's the beauty of baseball. Because who before this year would have picked the Washington Nationals to win the World Series?
Especially with what's his name leaving, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the beauty of baseball. They lose this guy to where he gets paid big bucks in Philadelphia.
Biggest contracts in like NBA history, wasn't it not?
Right, it was 13 years, $330 million. He didn't want to take 10 years and $300 in Washington because they essentially deferred his money out. They're like, oh, we'll pay you the money, but we're going to pay you like small portions over the next like 30 years. And he was like, no, I want my money now. So he left for Philly, and now they're in the World Series without him. And the Phillies didn't even make the playoffs.
Stinks.
So, right,
Especially
exactly.
with baseball, bro. Like it's not like the NBA where you can have your star player or two and take off. It's like baseball is, I feel like, especially maybe more than ever, or maybe more than out of all the other sports.
Absolutely.
You need however many guys are playing, like to contribute 100%,
I think baseball and hockey are both of those kind of sports where you need a full team effort. You can't have like 2 guys carrying you.
Sure.
You can't have like a great quarterback and a couple of good wide receivers, or a great quarterback and like 2 or 3 good defensive players to kind of run your team around. Or basketball, you just need like 3 guys and you win. Baseball, it's a 25-man roster. Every person contributes. Sure, you may only play like 15 or 16 in a given playoff series, but you still need all those guys to contribute and just be there in case it's their time to step up to the plate. You never know when some guy is needed off the bench for a pinch run or a quick out and to come on the mound. It's just because, like I said, no one would have the Nationals weren't up there in the conversation for World Series at this time last year. No one was thinking about them to pick it all. Even in May when they were 13 games under 500, everyone was like, they're stinking this year. Like, without Bryce, they're just not good anymore. And then
that's crazy.
It's crazy that the teams like that who don't have that star power.
Toronto last year.
Right.
These teams that come out of the woodworks, man, that just kind of like that have like 1-2 pieces, essential pieces that like kind of complete the team as a whole,
right.
To kind of bring them to the next level. That just kind of come out of the woodworks. And I like the way that format is presenting itself.
Thank you, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like across sports in general, where it's just like challenging the norm of like that dominant team that's supposed to be coming in and wiping the floor at the rest of the competition, like the Yankees, like Golden State,
like the Dodgers, or
right. They're supposed to be coming in. They're supposed to be putting up big numbers, and they just fold.
And they just fold, as opposed to, like the Nationals. Like the Yankees were supposed to be the ones that people are anticipating to be in the World Series right now.
Yeah.
Golden State was supposed to win last season, but it's just not how it pans out, and it makes for a more dramatic, much more entertaining atmosphere, especially on the upcoming years. You know what I mean? Teams adjust it in accordance to to how these things play out, and it's just super fun to watch, because now I feel like these NBA teams, these MLB teams are going to be adjusting on a more even playing field. You know what I mean? They're going to be adjusting their rosters to be able to be more balanced, as opposed to just like superstar heavy. You know what I mean?
And at the end of the day, like no matter what sport it is. And to be honest, it doesn't even have to fall into sports in whatever category. Right. Like the most camaraderie that you have with whatever team that you're building, and I think Clark Street Collective can go with this, is like the camaraderie that you have within your team builds a championship pedigree, right?
Very true.
And I feel like that goes with Northside Plug, that goes with Clark Street Collective, that goes with Golden State Warriors, whatever, like championship or just pursuing success and pursuing greatness, like it's all about putting together the best team and making sure that everybody is eating and at the same time everybody is contributing in a term that brings success,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well said, bro. Well said.
And what's crazy about the Nationals is we've talked about it before, how sports are getting younger. The athletes are getting crazier at these younger ages. The Nationals, on average, are the oldest team in the majors. They're the oldest team in the majors on average, which is ridiculous because they have Max Scherzer, who's north of 35, still dominating out there. And then you have older guys like Ryan Zimmerman. Their first draft pick when they moved to Washington is now in the World Series. And they balance that with guys like Juan Soto, who's turning 21 tomorrow, and he's already had 4 RBIs in the World Series.
Wow.
Pascal Siakam, bro.
Pascal
Siakam, bro. He's supposed to be a pastor,
Pastor Pascal.
Like, just these guys are coming out of the courts and giving these opportunities to rise and shine and taking those opportunities.
It's all about hard work.
Yeah, it's all about hard work and just believing in yourself. And like we said, I think the culture of both like the Raptors and it's almost similar to the way the Nationals are. It's like they know that it's gonna take the whole team. They're not gonna rely on one single guy. It's like it's always like kind of that next man up policy. It's like if this guy's not gonna hit tonight, then we need someone else to.
Yeah.
Because like with the Astros, and before the series, they've had some of their best hitters just be cold, just be absolutely cold before this. They just got carried by a couple of their dominant pitching and a couple of key hitting. Where like the Nationals, everyone's had their moment to get a good hit or a good inning for pitching. They just had everyone step up, and that's what makes me so just so excited to watch them and be that next great story in baseball of a team winning their first championship in since they've moved back. And first championship in Washington, I think the first championship in Washington baseball history, which is just awesome. That's the beauty. That's what I said. That's why I love baseball. I don't care if any of y'all think it's boring. I know it takes 3.5 hours for a game to take up. I don't care if whatever else, man. I love baseball, and I'll always think it's beautiful.
Not that Washington needs any more credit right now, because Washington's just going to.
Baseball's my favorite sport, and I've been watching
No, man. I'm talking about a presidency, bro. I'm talking about our lackluster presidency.
Yeah, the people want to focus on something positive in Washington besides what's going on in the White House or the football team doesn't even play in Washington D.C. They play in Maryland.
Really?
The Washington Redskins play in Maryland. Yeah, FedEx Field is not in D.C.
That sucks.
Fun fact for y'all.
That's why they stink.
So, all right, that's all I want to say about baseball. This time next week, actually, will be Game 7 is supposed to be next Wednesday if the Astros somehow get it to Game 7. So by this time, for our next show next week, you'll be hearing my thoughts on the end of the World Series.
What's the split right now?
It's 2-0. No, 2-0. 2-0. Tuesday and Wednesday, Nationals took over. I think the Astros need to win Game 3. If they don't win Game 3, the series is over. I don't care how many. I don't care if the Nationals win Game 4. I don't care if the Astros win Game 4. They have to win Game 3, or else they're not gonna come back from 3-0. The Red Sox did it in 04. I know they did that. That was amazing. But the World Series is a whole different beast. Yeah. It's a whole different beast. Yep. But as one season comes to an end, another season's beginning.
NBA.
The NBA started this week. Tuesday were the first couple of games. We had 11 games last night, which was exciting to watch. My favorite thing about the beginning of the season is I've had Xfinity since I've been here in Chicago, even in college and in my own apartments. The first week of the season, they have a preview of League Pass.
Oh, thank you for reminding me, bro.
You're welcome.
Go home and watch NBA basketball.
You can turn it on, and they're gonna have free previews of every game. I was watching the Suns and the Kings last night. Just because I wanted to watch NBA basketball. I was just watching every game.
Why DeAndre Ayton is
I was just about to say that.
25 games to fight dire. The man just wants
Breaking
to piss,
news.
bro. Come on.
Hey, man, you're in an opportunity. You're in a position where you know what you got to do, bro, and it's like you can't flop that opportunity, And
they're not playing around, but Bradley Beal just got sent out of a game for waving off a referee, you know what I mean? People just be getting 10 years ago, people used to be getting in referees' faces.
Right.
Would just serve a penalty. You know what I mean, just like a minor penalty,
like a technical.
A technical.
Yeah. It's just I don't know, man. The league is different, and it's
you can see
big changes going on. You know,
some of the calls the refs were looking at. At least I watched the Celtics game closely, but like the refs, it's just a new ball game of how they calling it. Hubie Brown is this. I forget where he coached, but he's one of the announcers for ESPN. He was every time the refs made like a questionable call, he was like you know how I would say how 30 years ago would be different, but I don't want to get into that right now. It's like, well, Hubie, you already said enough. Like, we all know that, like, the game 30, 20 years ago was totally different, and now they're just keeping everyone as safe as they can because they can, and they want to see as much scoring as possible.
Like the Nuggets, for example, this past game scored like 54% from the three-point line, like 34% from the mid-range. Yeah. Just like the development of the game, even from a couple of years ago, you know what I mean? Just the focus,
shooting all these threes.
You know what I mean? And he's still it goes to show with like the fact that he's able to still be a prevalent center with like how talented he is, being the playmaking center that he is, that the scoring from all points of past the half court. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just it's the rising of like Karl Anthony Towns, you know what I mean? Just like those skill sets are gonna be like more on the forefront of what you're gonna be seeing in these highlight reels, you know, on a day-to-day basis. You know what I mean?
You have so many 7-footers shooting threes right now, like. Will Chamberlain's rolling over his grave, seeing how many of these 7-footers.
R.I.P.
Yeah, man. But like he's rolling over in his grave, watching all these 7-footers shoot threes. I'm telling you, because like last night, you see Joel Embiid has like 10 feet in front of him to make a move on Daniel Tice, and what does he do? Pulls up for three, front rims it, and like it's just funny to see the game changing. But I want to talk about the Celtics game last night. The Sixers,
baby.
First, I want to give all credit to the Sixers. They're one of the favorites. They're one of my favorites to win the East. I like
looking good.
I like
looking good.
Since JJ Redick left, they don't have that perimeter shot. They don't have it.
That's why they brought in Josh Richardson to try to answer that. That's because they lost. Because they actually said it last night. They lost their 3 most effective 3-point shooters over the offseason. They lost JJ. They lost Jimmy Butler, and then I think it was one of the rookies. I can't remember who it was, but like they've lost their 3 best. So like, and that's a big part of today's game. Just as we said, I can't remember exactly. It might have been Landry Shamet. That's who it was. So I think they're one of my favorites to win the East. Just how like stacked their starting lineup is. Ben Simmons is.
He's looking good, man.
He's getting better, and he's unworldly. Like he pulled off this move where he got a lob pass, caught it with one hand like this, didn't even fully get a grip, and then just kissed it off the glass. Essentially, just like a this. Here for the listeners out there, he literally just went like that, and it went perfectly off the glass and into the backboard. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, how do you stop that? The guy's 7 foot and he's playing point guard.
Yeah.
Like, he's just unbelievable. But I just want to get a few of my Celtics takes on what the positives and negatives from what I saw. Positive, Jason Tatum taking all the shots he wants. Love that. Give him the ball. Give him the ball. He didn't shoot well last night, but give him the ball. First half defense was great. I think the first quarter especially, we played great defense against that whole team. We kind of fell off in the second half. That's kind of how we lost the game, just kind of crumbled. Some negatives. There's not a lot of bench scoring, or just there's no, like, after Marcus Smart on the bench just kind of falls off.
Yeah.
Like
the rookie though, like he's been hitting threes. Like, I mean, I know the preseason was more of like a precursor to what could possibly be.
Carson
Edwards, yeah, he's definitely someone to look out for, especially tackle fall. Like on their defensive end, they have offensive and defensive potential. They just need to get a little bit more experience, and I feel like as the season progresses, they'll show signs of that evolution. You know, as every rookie and sophomore and junior into their years does. But I agree. Jason Tatum being a ball dominant, being their primary ball dominant player. They can't really go wrong in their system going forward.
I think the system falls, or I think the success of the Celtics at the end of the day is going to fall upon how the performance of Kemba Walker. You know,
he struggled last night.
Exactly,
man. He struggled,
and that's what I feel killed them, because that's your point guard, you know, and that's who you need to be.
Your $34 million man.
Whether
I don't want to talk about that.
Even if he's not necessarily scoring, bro. You want him to be facilitating, and you want him to be feeding the right people. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, so they're going to have to get it together, and I feel like there's a lot of pressure on Kemba Walker because he's never been in this position before. He's never been on a team in the NBA where, there's expectations.
Like, how many nationally televised games do the Hornets play?
And that's another thing, you're
compared to the Celtics.
Barely on the TV.
Is his contract the same as when he was at the Hornets?
No. He got a max to come to Boston. But I was talking about this. I wrote this in my blog the other day. Anything but he shouts out to the boys out there for. I wrote on my blog my Celtics thoughts for the year. They have 4 guys who have at least 5 years NBA experience.
Okay,
that's it.
Damn.
The rest of them have 3 or less years.
Wow, they're young.
That's an exciting thing.
It is very exciting. But like, it's just going to take time for. We had 2 rookies come off the bench. We're gonna have a third at least when he gets healthy in Romeo Langford. It's gonna be a young team. It's gonna take time for this team to develop. But they had a tough game against Philly to start. They got Toronto tomorrow. I think it's gonna take a little time. But I am excited for this team. Oh, you know who looked great last night? Gordon Hayward looked awesome last night.
Gordon Hayward.
He looks like his old self, and that gets me really excited to see Gordon Hayward back in his grind.
I feel like there are reasons for Gordon Hayward being the veteran presence on this team. You know what I mean? They have the potential to have that kickstart for their rookies the way they made the playoffs a couple years ago with Jason Tatum making that push. Carson Edwards, he's a walking bucket. You know what I mean? I mean, even was he like 6'1", you know what I mean? But this man can shoot from anywhere on the floor. They got one of the tallest big men in the entire league, and they just have such a slew of talent that even midway deep into the regular season, I feel like they're gonna be such a playoff threat, such an underrated playoff threat, much like they were a couple years ago, that it'll make just the rest of the league in the playoff series just that much more interesting. I think that they have a real shot to be making it deep within the playoffs this year.
I totally agree. I think it's just going to be a process with all these young guys for sure. Speaking of young teams, though, the Bulls, man.
The Bulls, baby.
The Bulls. They had it. They had it in Charlotte. They were up 10 with like 6 minutes left, and then it was a tie game with 3 minutes left. They quickly swung within 3 minutes, and they just couldn't pull it out at the end. But I liked what I saw from them. Laurie was looking awesome last night. He's dropped 31, I think, and grabbed like 12 boards, which you love to see from that.
They need more from their newer acquisitions.
Right. Exactly. Like, of course.
It's all about.
They need more from Thaddeus. They need more from Wendell.
Yeah.
I don't want to say all across the board because their main 2 staple players are going to be the ones that are going to be hoisting them up there. But when you're not averaging like 100 points between your top 2-3 players, you need a little bit more of a distribution.
I don't think that's how the Bulls are going to do it, but I got to say, if you're going to score 124 points, you should win the basketball game. Right. You can't let them score. They got to just get better on the defensive end.
Exactly. It's all about defense.
That's what I think was their struggle last night, because at times they didn't find struggling to get points. Like, sure, like some guys were off, but like they were still getting points. They scored enough. It's just that I felt like the defense at certain points was just very shaky to me. And
I feel like the Bulls' problem at the end of the day, bro, is that they don't take advantage of when they're up, right? The Bulls just I'm on the camera. The Bulls just, I don't know, man. Whenever they're at a position where they're ready to win, Jimmy over here tweaking me out, bro.
The Bulls are gonna win.
The Bulls.
What about the Timberwolves?
The Timberwolves, they
no one knows about that. Oh my God! Just because you're from Minnesota doesn't mean that
Andrew Wiggins can put
the Timberwolves stink, bro.
If Andrew Wiggins can put up a.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disrespect you, but the Bulls aren't that
It's
good.
really contingent upon Andrew Wiggins. Like, Karl Anthony Towns, he's a given. He's going to be putting up like 20, 30 points, 10 boards a game.
Y'all like sports?
If Andrew Wiggins kind of fulfills the contract that he's been given the past like 2-3 years, which he should have been performing at the past couple of years, they have a chance at being a 7th or 8th seed. But that's at best, you know what I mean? Like, they're not a championship contending team, but really, I mean, their goal is to make the playoffs again without Jimmy Butler, to be like, we don't need that third core player to carry our team into the playoffs. And so once they make it there, I feel like maybe Andrew Wiggins can ascend to a new level that he hasn't kind of expressed before. But until that happens, like, everything, like, it's the first week of NBA. And I mean, if anything, it's just like the excitement of what's to come. So I'm ready to see what happens.
Right. That's the beauty of just like seeing the first game, kind of getting a taste. And like the Timberwolves, I think, like, just with Andrew Wiggins in general, like when he was drafted by the Cavs, and everyone's like, oh, he's like going to be the next LeBron for Cleveland, and then he automatically gets flipped for Kevin Love right away, just gets flipped. So like for him, he's always just had this kind of like chip on his shoulder in that kind of aspect of his career. But I think the Timberwolves will be fine. Yeah. It's gonna be I don't know if they'll contend. I don't think they'll contend for a championship because the West is so loaded with talent this year that it's gonna be tough for them there. But they beat the Nets last night, even though Kyrie dropped 50. So I like that.
Yeah, I mean,
what does that say?
Anything else that you guys saw from the first few nights of NBA action?
I want to go back to the Bulls. I want to go back to the Bulls.
Go back to the Bulls.
I want to go back to the Bulls. So like, I feel like Zach LaVine has to tee up, right? Lauri Markkanen did his part. I mean, that man dropped 35 and 17, man. So that he's doing what he's expected of, right? We need Zach LaVine to be teeing up. That's got to be 1-2. I don't care who's 1. I don't care who's 2. We just have to have them performing at the utmost excellence, right? Kobe White is going to be great off the bench this year. I think just the energy that he brings to the team is really just a really big bonus. And I don't know, man. I feel like it's just going to take a little bit of balance for the squad and for them to understand how to win together because they're not used to winning, right? And it's going to be a growing season. We're going to see losing, we're going to see sucky games, but at the end of the day, I feel like they're a team that can go through some troubles and kind of learn and grow together. And I think at the end of the day, I kind of am starting to believe that Kobe White is the key to this team.
Absolutely. I hope they start him. I think eventually Moylan's going to start him until they keep Satoransky out there for a little bit. But I think it's just like giving Kobe White a little bit of time to kind of get his feet wet before just like throwing him fully in. Sure. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which I totally understand. Like, it's a long season. It's different than the 30, 40 game season that he's used to in college basketball. Sure. It's twice as long. So like, I totally get you don't want to throw him in the water right away. But I think once he gets going for this team, I mean, he still scored 17 last night.
And the thing about Kobe White is, and Jim Boylan was going into this, is that he is someone that's constantly learning, you know, and he's open to learning. He's trying to understand the game, understand how he's going to get better, and that's the qualities of a leader, right? You know, so you got a rookie coming in here. To be honest, you know, I think that Kobe White might have the highest IQ out of all the rookies that came into the league. So I think that the Bulls,
common amongst the newer players coming into,
you know,
like, they just have this like uncanny, non-before-seen IQ that these younger players have not shown instances of in the past. You know, Luka Doncic is just another prime example.
Yeah,
exactly. Young players that have this crazy basketball IQ that can take a team to the next level. Yeah. In accordance to like that duo with Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis, they look freaking phenomenal.
Yeah,
and the Mavs were exciting to watch yesterday, definitely. And yeah, I think like once, because like we've said this before, like the Bulls almost in a similar situation with the Celtics in the way that they're just a very young team, and like they're gonna need their younger guys to produce.
Sure.
Like they have like Lauri, like it's, you look at it like Otto Porter, sure, he's probably the most experienced guy, but you're gonna want guys like Zach LaVine and Lauri Markkanen to score. Like, you're looking at those guys to get your buckets, and then you're still gonna want Wendell to do everything he needs. Like, even I agree with G Money in that Kobe White is gonna be the very crucial part to kind of, because I think it's a good enough starting lineup. I think it's good. Like, once they get Kobe White in there with LaVine, Carter, Otto Porter, and Lauri, that's a solid starting lineup. I don't hate that lineup.
Yeah. They just got to grow together. Man.
Right. Like, it's a long season. There's still plenty of time. It's only the middle of October. We'll see how it is in like January, February. We'll see how it gets there. Hopefully, I hope Kobe White's starting I hope he's been starting for a while by then.
We're gonna lose games like these, and you know, I've just as a longtime Bulls fan, I've come to terms with how we operate as an organization, and I can already see where this is going. You know, and I really do have faith in this team and the players that we have. And to be honest, I was actually after. I think we were texting about it, but you know, I was watching the Celtics game and I was studying their team, and I was like it is a little biased, but and no offense to Dan, but I was just like, I was looking at the Bulls team and I was like, I'd rather have this Bulls team than I would have the Celtics team that they have right now.
Wow.
And I it's like I feel like Jalen, you know, Jalen.
Wow.
You're gonna say that. You're gonna say it right in my face.
I'm gonna say it, bro. Bulls Nation.
What about the
Windy
T-Bulls?
City.
What about the T-Bulls though?
Yo, stop that.
Hey man, I'm gonna keep repeating myself. The T-Bulls stink, bro. No, I love you, bro, but the
What about
T-Bulls
Minnesota
stink.
though?
What about Clark Street though?
Clark Street is amazing, bro, and we're gonna get into this interview, bro.
Yeah, let's get into the interview. Honestly, we've talked enough. We're gonna talk more basketball as we get along. You know what, G Money, you can say all you want about liking the Bulls better, but we'll see how we are like next week or like in a few weeks. Like we said, we'll talk. We'll see how the season goes. It's still young. It's only one game. We're both 0-1, so we can't really say much.
We're both 0-1.
Yeah,
We're
so,
on the loser board.
all right. Yeah, I think that was enough sports for one day.
We're gonna take a quick little break, play some tunes for y'all. Tune in, you know, Northside plugged over here at Q4 Radio. We got Clark Street Collective in the building, and we're about to get into this.
Yo. Sorry.
I didn't hear it, so.
Oh, what?
I got bands.
Justice Bieber.
Justice Bieber? Oh,
All right.
Justin Bieber?
Justin Bieber? Yeah, Justin Bieber. We got Justin
Bieber's
Bieber on the board.
Hey, y'all.
Not my first choice for an A-list celeb, but okay.
We'll be right back on Northside
Northside
Plug.
Plug.
Clark Street Collective in the building.
Get back.
Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Drinking Miller Lite, my life. Here with Clark Street, a nice night. Hey, type of never make that. Northside Plug, we back in the building, baby. How are y'all feeling on this beautiful Thursday? It's chilly out, man. I stepped out the crib. I was super cold, bro.
Nice. My Uber driver was like, it's nice outside now. Like, you tweaking, bro. You from Chicago? Like, come on.
But yeah, man. But speaking of cold, man, we got some cold individuals in the building, man. We got Clark Street Collective.
What's good? Yo.
Excited to get into this interview, man. It's good to have you back over here.
Excited too.
Definitely, man. So let's get right into it. You know, what's it called? It's cool that we each have a new member. Well, not new member, but members of the team that weren't on the show last time.
Yeah.
You feel me? So we got Justice on our side, and I'm so sorry, Mitch, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Shout out Mitch,
bro.
Young Ghost.
Young Ghost in the building, man. But yeah, man. So I don't know. We can just get right into it. How y'all been? What y'all been up to since last time we seen you guys?
Half, man. It's crazy.
Man, it's been a while, but shit, we got a new spot.
Language, please. It's all good.
Shoot, we got a new spot.
We definitely got a new spot.
True.
Pilsen, check us out.
Hey,
You know how it is.
Southside.
It was a
Stock
big move for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's it was something we had to do.
Okay.
We've been working out of my apartment for probably 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
And hopping around coffee shops, co-working spaces, and it just wasn't cutting it.
Yeah.
You know, we really needed to level ourselves up. And the only way to do that is to get a space where we can fully just devote ourselves to our craft and what we do. And that's where we're at.
That's dope, man.
Honestly, we just needed like the biggest overhead to like give us that push, because for so long we were just working for free, you know what I mean?
True.
Like on the sense of like we had our spaces for free, like we always were just handed things, and this is the first time in our journey where I feel like we've actually evolved into being a real business. We have a brick and mortar, like we're evolving as a company, we're taking the steps to be a bigger person than we were even last year, 3 months ago. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
It's cool, bro, because I remember when y'all came on the Northside Plug, y'all were excited because y'all had just started y'all LLC, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. You were at the beginning of it all.
Beginning.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So it's good to hear. What would you say? I get a sense, but for the people, like, what motivated you guys to take that next leap and, I don't know, kind of put that money in your own hands and all the moves in your own hands, I guess it seems like, and put yourselves into that new creative space.
Bigger budget, you know, more money, more problems. That's what I would say with anything. We just saw a lot of opportunity, and we decided to take the leap, and we're rolling with it, man. I mean, there's highs and lows, but you know, with the lows becomes learning, and I feel like the learning lessons are, you know, one of the most valuable things that we've learned over the last month of even having a space.
Sure.
It just makes us that much stronger for the future, and and I think that's it. At the end of the day, is like we saw the opportunity, and we're like, yo, you know what? Let's get out of Jimmy's house. Take all the.
How boring would life be if you didn't have those lows, anyways? You know?
No, for sure.
Come on.
And I think, you know, there's a separation. I mean, when you work at home, you have home and you have the personal life that involves with everything along the lines of it. So I think being able to evolve that is probably the coolest thing, just because, like, I mean, dude, being able to sit down and play Mortal Kombat and all those things during the day, I mean, that's a huge distraction. So I think, you know, being able to get outside of that and actually perfect our craft is one of the biggest things that we've been able to do.
Right.
So true.
So as the people can see, our new and old viewers, we're in this beautiful new studio at Q4.
Q4,
a lot has changed, and you know, a lot of new people or old folks that have been listening before, you know, have seen you guys before, maybe not. So just for the people, do you guys want to give a kind of a synopsis of who Clark Street Collective is? If you want to re-put out your names again, just to reintroduce yourselves. But who is Clark Street Collective for the people?
Yeah, what's good? I'm Jimmy Kurz. We got Noah Fury on my left. We got John Nano on the left, and we got Mitch Danello on the left. But we're missing our boy Sky. He's the fifth member of Clark Street Collective, and essentially we are a creative agency. You know, like what we're looking to do is to produce and create stories for brands and other people like that. But at the end of the day, what we really want to do is help support other artists and, you know, kind of show you that you can do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's on you, but we're gonna help you get there, and we're gonna help you believe that you got it. Yeah. That you can take your steps to become whatever boss you want to be.
True.
You know? And that's the end goal. Like, we'll have a school at some point. We're gonna have a hands-on thing.
Yeah, I think you should talk about the school. I mean, that's the end goal. That's the sexy.
Yeah, tell us about it, Noah. What's the school? What's up with the school?
What's that about?
I mean, I don't know. You see all these art schools closing, bro, and like, even our homeboy Sky, our business partner, he was an AI, and they shut down all that stuff just right away. And like, it's crazy because like, I feel like education now is not just the book smart; it's actually the hands-on smart. And it's the people learning how to do craft throughout actually doing it. And I think that's one thing that we want to perfect as a company is show individuals that you don't have to go to school for 4 years or 5 years or 6 years or even 2 for a trade or whatnot. I think we want to show that you can come in, you can learn knowledge, you can learn the skill, and actually gain business knowledge throughout doing that. So I think our end goal is really just to create a school that shows creatives how to approach the world with their creative craft and master it. I mean, I think that's the end goal for everybody. I mean, especially in Chicago, you have such a experimental realm of people that want to see new things, and I think this is the perfect time to install something new as far as education goes. And however we can do that, I think is the sky's the limit with that. I think that's the biggest thing.
What about the Chicago community and the Chicago underground community makes it like the best like breeding grounds for your business and your collective to operate within?
I think like the underground is actually like the best realm, you know what I mean? Like that's the people that really know the difference inside like what's professional, and I mean not even professional. I think it's the people that can separate like what the norm is and what the new wave is.
Right.
And I think the underground,
that gap.
I think it really it's the bridging the gap, and I think like the new wave of people is the underground people. I think it's the people 100%. Taking the leap and saying, hey, you know what,
standing behind each other and
exactly. There's something about Chicago that has this collaborative environment. Like people are down to help each other out. They're like, yo, I like what you do, let's work. Or you're not, what you do doesn't take away from what I do. Right. We can both live in the same environment and thrive. We all can do that.
Definitely. 100%. And I think we need that. Like as a I always tell people, even businesses that we work with, it's like we're in a renaissance of like time right now because you're seeing a lot of failure and old structure and the new wave of new structure. And I think that's really important right now because like I even think of my younger brother. Like I think it's cool because when we're older, we're going to be the next wave of what this whole wave looks like coming forward. And I think that's going to be the most exciting thing is that the possibilities are endless. Like I mean really, and it's like it really starts with people working together, and that's the biggest thing. And I think it starts with again, people come together. So to answer that question, it's the underground people that are going to make it, bro. Like those people are the most valuable people I think in the earth right now.
Right. You were talking about education, bro, and I'm curious about you guys' perspective on you had mentioned how art classes are all getting canceled and whatnot, and it just feels like as a kid, and even going back to when we were in school, it was starting to really unfold like this, where sports and pretty much art, pretty much what Northside Plugged is, we're all getting cut, and it's all
first to get slashed, bro. These
for real.
It's all STEM, right? It's all STEM focused. So, what, in your guys' perspective, what do you think is driving that in terms of the focus on school of STEM and not focusing on the creative side?
I think it's the old generation, man. I even think of like my younger brother when he was there for his graduation. I remember he was up on the podium and he was talking about how he wanted to go to trade school. And I think so many parents there were just like, whoa, you shouldn't do that. Like you should go to a 4-year college. And I think it's crazy because like that's not the wave anymore. Like the people that are actually indulging themselves into the world like are the people that are taking the risk and taking the leaps and bounds to be who they are as a person and really spreading their creativity throughout the world.
I mean, like to speak on what you just said about STEM, there's a project maybe a couple of years ago where we were producing videos for Discovery Education, and it was all to do with STEM.
True.
And they needed a new form of video content that can actually relate to these kids who are going through these STEM programs. All the videos are outdated. and it's not personal. So what they wanted was for people to understand, you know, what is the life like of a professional pursuing a STEM career.
Yeah.
And with that, you know, it really did bridge the gap of we need this new wave of video production and all this type of things. And also it's still helping out that side, but it's not taking away also, you know.
Yeah,
Definitely.
It's all about goes back to camaraderie and seeing how they all work together, and it just seems like the overarching people of whoever's making these decisions don't see that. And it's
hard to convince them.
Here, know?
These old farts are messing with our business. Let me tell you.
But I think that's why you see them falling. You know what I mean? Like you have such a strong new wave. I mean, so much power coming into the young generation, which is like the most powerful thing right now. I mean, you see civil movements in general.
There's so much money within like these older forms of formats for content and being released that like you get a total overpass of like the modern forms of just like striving, you know what I mean? Just like people who are like just trying to do the most with what they got, and the nuances and the creativity that comes from that, you know what I mean? Like there are these directors that have this idea of what video content should be and what modern content should be, and it's just like there's just no rules to that anymore.
Yeah,
you know
fuck what it should be. I mean, I'm sorry for my language, but no, I mean, screw what it should be. Like that's not even. Yeah, I mean, you make your wave. You know what I mean?
How would you define the modern state of modern content in general? Like how are you guys approaching?
Oh man,
it's fast.
It's very fast paced, flashy, in your face.
I always tell clients it's a seizure in a video. You know what I mean? Like it really is. Like I mean, it's just like
yeah, trying to throw as much into as little time as you can.
Seriously,
honestly,
and people's attention spans getting smaller.
You heard that? Literally, people's attention spans right now in 2019 are less than a goldfish. That is a fact.
That's why TikTok is what, like, you have 15 seconds to make an impression.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And if you're not making an impression in 15 seconds, what are you doing?
Right.
Are you wasting your time?
You got to think, how are you going to stop someone from scrolling, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
You got to catch their attention somehow.
I like that. You got to stop them from scrolling. I like that.
We're all scrolling, but how can I just make you be like, whoa, what is this?
The first step is like being conscientious of that fact, and how you hone into it, how you adapt your style to the modern consumer, and yeah, like your guys' definition of that, and like we said before, like the road to success is multifaceted. There's multiple roads to success. So the idea of what is appealing, what is flashy to someone right now, it's just like it's the difference between like what is new, what is provocative, what's going to feed into the attention of the younger generation, which is critical
to get the people going.
Yeah.
But I think what is new is the provocative. You know, I mean, it is like the stuff that hasn't been done yet. You know, and I think that's where we're seeing a lot of like increase even with our content, is where it's, you know, the most valuable is because of that. Like we're willing to take those risks to say, hey, you know what, it's okay to be a little different compared to those normal commercials, and to watch it kind of unfold in this magical way. So
I know you guys are talking about your micro content and how you're catering to people who are trying to put out an abundance of micro content, and how you guys are sort of not necessarily like totally specializing in that, but helping more up and coming artists and content creators trying to hone in on that aspect. How are you guys doing that, and how are you helping accommodate those newer content creators to hone in on that micro content?
Yeah, I think like the number one thing is really how can you take one shoot and turn it into X amount of content. Like you need to maximize on that. People are only thinking of one idea and executing that idea, and that's it. They're like, that's the end of story. But really, it's like we can turn this one video into 5 different things. I can give you 8 different GIFs within one video that is going to make your feed really pop out. It's going to make your brand seem like it's more cohesive. You know, you're not stuck in the trap of hiring all these random photographers, videographers, and getting okay work. You know, you're spending the time to create something that means and actually encompasses your brand.
And I think we're learning that too, though, at the same time. You know what I mean? I mean, like, there's still a point of like the old age that still incorporates into the new age. And I think, you know, like, you never settle with just giving what you got. Like, you always go above and beyond with every client, especially with the new wave of people going, you know, we are freelancers, we are the new wave, so people don't understand it. It's experimental. So 100%. I think when you can give them more, they understand actually the culture a little bit more, which I think is very valuable, and especially for any creative, just because of the fact that, like, it's not just us creating the wave, it's everybody. So once one person makes the wave, everybody's going to go along with it. And I think that's with everybody. And then that's how we overthrow, I mean, not even overthrow, but, you know, overall just kind of, again, create that renaissance of, you know, new business
through trend setting, essentially.
What does it mean to you guys as Clark Street Collective to be creatives?
Oh man, that's a $1 million question.
Loaded question. I love it though.
I think creative is just being yourself. I think that's like the biggest thing is just, I mean, and Jimmy probably can answer this, or Mitch or John can answer this a little differently, but I think, you know, a creative itself is just being yourself. I think putting new content in the world that actually values something to somebody else or can relate to somebody else. And again, I think you see so much content now that's so stagnant and so much, it's so repetitive that when you look at it, you're just like, I can't relate to this. I've seen this, you know? And so if you really put out that content that somebody can be like, oh, cool, like I thought about this, or I can be with this. That's when you're going to have the best response out of any clients.
And what's great about you guys is I was like scrolling through, I was checking out your page the other day, and it's like you guys make content for everyone else, but then you make your own content about what you guys are doing. Because it was a video a couple weeks ago. I think you guys were like doing a drone shot and like it fell.
Oh yeah.
You guys were like on a rescue mission, and I just like watched that. And I was like, man, this is like an awesome video of them just like going up to get a drone that they fell on a building, and you guys like made a whole thing about it. And it was awesome just to watch because like that's the thing that people love is like making these situations into content that like people want to enjoy consuming, like myself and whoever else.
Absolutely. And like it's so easy to get caught in the trap of like, okay, I just need to do work for my clients. I need to create certain things because people will like it, right? And then you need to take a step back and be like, okay, what do I want to make? What does Clark Street make? Like, who are we as people, as a company? And that video right there was one of the first ones where like, screw it, let's just make a little random video. And I remember John and I were talking, and I was like, you know what? I have a little time today. Let's just do a 1 hour edit challenge. Why not? Why not?
That was dope.
So I took that hour, and I knew we had this funny footage of John crashing his drone on the rooftop. So why not just turn it into a challenge one, and then just some fun content for people to relate to, like yourself. You know, like if you see that a drone fall, that's $1,600 crashing on a rooftop. If you don't get that back, I don't know about you, but $1,600 that's a good amount of money.
It's a good chunk of change.
Yeah, for real.
That ain't no like pocket change.
Exactly.
It's a good chunk of change. Right
Not
there.
in our wallets for sure. For
This
real.
goes to show that you guys are like pushing the boundaries, just like using what you have, like in the midst of like what someone would deem like, oh, like that's not the shot I was looking for. You take that and create something not only entertaining but relatable in the same time. Like failure in this day and age is something that can be related to heavily.
It's the most prized thing.
So the more that you can convey that is an acceptable thing, that's okay, and not only is it acceptable and okay, but it's like it's promoted, it's encouraged.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
so putting yourself out
along
there.
Your successes. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So like it's an invaluable thing that you guys are tapping into at this.
Yeah, I mean, like with social media, it's so easy to just be like, hey, this is my life. I'm living the best life ever. I own my own business. You know, I make my own schedule. But the reality is, no, like there's a lot of downsides that come with that. You know, no one's telling you what to do. If you're not pushing, nothing's gonna happen.
And it's easy to get caught up in the mix too. Like it really is, especially when you have like corporate clients paying your bills and stuff like that. It's super, super, super hard to get off that wave and still be creative on your own realm. And I think like for a good period of time, even for us, like there was a point where we were just like that. Like, you know, we were just creating content just to make the money, just to make ends meet. But then once we realized that we could incorporate our own style into these corporate clients, that's when we really started seeing some real magic.
That's dope.
And even that little video of like what most people will say is a failure, that got us another client.
Yeah,
essentially.
Definitely. Yeah. And some people would be like, "Whoa, that's whack! Like your guys' feed looks like it's a bunch of kids running it." It's like, cool. Well, not really, but I mean, like
kids grow into adults, man.
But I mean, the thing is, like the kid is the one that has the best ideas. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
it's genuine.
I mean, you look at
trying to appeal to, you know what I mean? And the fact that like if you're trying to deny the fact that you have that within, that you don't have that within you still, like you're lying to yourself and you're lying to the rest of
You're running away from yourself.
But I mean, when was everybody the most creative? You know,
I think
like
kids
when you had the least, bro.
when you had the least.
they don't think of limitations either.
Yeah,
No, never.
Like
Never.
money. Oh, you know, money's gonna stop me from doing this. They don't think about that.
Definitely.
You know?
Just do it and have fun with it.
It's a good point, Mitch. I like Mitch's points. He just comes in with these one-liners, and I love them.
Oh, he's got the best one-liners in the game.
we don't want to show his face.
No, but that's a great point, because like when you are a kid, like my dream was to be a baseball, like the professional baseball player. But like I didn't think about how good I was, or like the money involved with any of that, or just like you just want to do things like not even think about it. And that's what I think we try to appeal to as creatives. It's just like that kid inside you who like just wants to live their life like as almost like a dream, I guess. Like and like these short spurts, you just want to be that kid that's happy in that like those little moments, just to catch that joy that sometimes we may not have. Like for me, like if you're going to that 9-to-5 grind, like you're on the train. I feel like those moments, like when I'm on my feed, like checking things, and I see like, I don't know, whoever else like just throwing out content, it makes you feel the joy in those moments of just being like it's just great. I don't know, it's just like awesome to see those sort of things just happen to make you feel that happiness that you might not feel all the time, because like we've been saying, it's all about peaks and valleys, and it's all about balance, and just like the peaks make up for any of the valleys. And I think that even goes back on the educational part that we really want to incorporate into Chicago, and as far as our brand, is the fact that like when you go backwards in time and you actually can influence the kid side of you, or even just the creative side of you, that's when you see the most magic.
And it doesn't have to be formatted. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
It doesn't have to be structured in a way that someone before you had set for you. You know what I mean? It's all within the process in and of itself that you learn these things that you add into the content that you create down the road. Now, what type of content have you guys been creating lately for your clients, for yourself, like the thematically? I would say.
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. And I think that's the question for all creatives. I think that's the question for video production in general. I think it's that seizure in a video. It's that new wave. It's the quick, fast-paced, like educational video that you can.
I mean, but like even besides that, just to do a little plug real quick, we're producing a new series called Artist Spotlight. Okay. And this is something that is to promote the artists we feel deserve a little bit of recognition in the community. And it's an interview format, but also a day in the life. So you get to see what these people go through, who they are as creatives, and hopefully it'll inspire you to pursue something along your own path, you know? Yeah. And with that, I think is so powerful. And that's something that us as Clark Street Collective, we want to create content like that. You know, we've stepped back, like Noah said, and have got caught in the trap of just producing work for clients. Yeah. And the creativity gets so lost there. So to go back to your roots and be like, what do we want to make? And this is going to be the new thing going into 2020 that we're dropping, that we are so proud of and happy to actually push out to the world.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
For clients, though, it's definitely that short form video.
As an additive, though, because like you got like in addition to all the different like to the plethora of content that you create, just adding the fact that like you guys are documentarians on top of everything you do. You know what I mean? And so that's just going along as again with the process of like realizing who you are while you're creating the content, putting it out, and just realizing that you can do more and more along the way, like the excitement with that, the anxieties that go along with that, and the necessity of both of those needing to be there in order to grow as individual creatives, essentially.
No, definitely. And I think the expectations are so high, especially like we just had a client, even I think like Sofitel, like, you know, you deal with all these blue collar like stuck up nose people, and they just have no idea what good content is anymore. And I think when you can
Does it make you excited?
It does. It does, and it puts you down. Like, I think like you have to look at it in two realms, because like it's exciting for us because we see the opportunity, right? And the opportunity is the best thing for indie creative. I think like you see a realm of like opportunity where you can go in and you can show something new, and then obviously there's the other side of it where it's beating you down, and you know, it's sometimes it sucks. Like, I mean, when people say no, it's a bad idea, and it's not a bad idea. I think you just have to keep pushing with what actually what goes with it and whatnot along the lines of it. So yeah.
Because you at some point you have to like adhere to a format that a client has within their mind, and then like you guys said, kind of meshing your own style within it. It just like
totally.
At some point it seems like it becomes seamless. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's hard to really, you know, put that creativity into a client, and it's also saying no to the client, you know, like saying, hey, by the way, this is not a good idea. You know, you hired us for, you know, creating and producing this certain content, and we don't believe that it should go in this direction. And a lot of times clients want to take that and kind of have that like ego in it and be like, yo, this is my idea, we need to make this happen. And it's like, you know, it would look so much better if you just follow along these lines, and you know, at the end of it, you're going to like it a whole lot better, and all of the people viewing it is going to be so much more receptive to it.
And along the lines, you'll have that content to look back and be like, look, this is kind of what I'm referring to, and like mixed with the idea that you guys have going forward with like what I'm trying to allude to here, you know what I mean? It's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing.
I think that's why I'm so excited for the future, bro.
Right.
Like, honestly, I even keep saying my brother, like, I'm excited for my brother's generation. I'm excited for his kids, like his kids' generation. You know what I mean? Of course. Because we're just going to see a completely different realm of like content as far as like business goes, marketing, everything. Like, I mean, my brother, I mean, yeah, it's just insane. Like, and it comes with time, and it comes with no's, and it comes with failures, it comes with all that stuff. I mean, the best failures, I think, are the best wins, because that's what really creates some type of movement in the culture.
And having the consciousness to be able to recognize that, you know what I mean? Because so many people fold, you know what I mean? Like,
it's easy.
In the face of that, you know what I mean? And
sucks.
being able to see that as an opportunity and grow from that and develop from that point, like, it's such an invaluable asset. Yeah. And so, like, being able to hear that from you guys, it's a really encouraging thing, and it just fuels that motivation to be able to, like, especially for someone, like, I'm primarily an audio person, you know what I mean? I produce most of the time. I invested in myself to be able to, you know, not have to outsource my video content, and not to say that I won't invest in collectives like you guys, but just like to know that that sort of innovation, that sort of thinking exists within the community that
and that's what we want. No, we want people like you to know and to actually pursue something else. Yeah. To definitely say, you know, I don't have to leave it up to somebody else. I can take charge. Right. I can do this.
We're the stepping stone. We're the backbone. We're like literally the push forward to the next generation. Like, I keep saying, like those people, like without us being there, like, we're never going to see a change. And I think that's the most valuable thing.
I've got a theory that I've been kind of creating for a while, and it goes with this. So, like, I feel like our generation, like, you know, us as millennials, we are exactly that. We're that push. We're that mind. Yeah. Right? We're the ones we're the ripple effect almost. And I feel like, for example, your brother, you know, his generation, I feel like these kids now, they're going to be the next, like, technical, industrial wave of whatever goes on
all day.
We're gonna have to teach them how to interact.
Exactly. We're the mind of the mind. I never thought of it that way.
Like, so right, though, like, all the technology that's coming is so crazy, bro. Yeah. Like, my brother is in school and he's selling e-cig juice, and he's buying it offline. He's buying $30 of e-cig juice, and he's selling it for $20 a pop for a small bottle. And he's selling shoes online. Like, this man is making like $4K a month, and he's like 17 years old. Like, I'm like, what the hell was I doing?
That's the thing is, like, for us, we were growing with all this social media. Right?
Absolutely.
Like, we are
put them in a business meeting.
We're the guinea pigs of it all.
Who are established like that.
Oh, they'll fold.
You know what I mean? And it's like we're in that pivotal generation where, like, we had to figure out how to exist outside of ourselves as at the same time of like how to interact with the outside world at the same time. We have that perfect duo. I don't want to say that.
Oh, we were kind of blessed, man. We grew up in the generation of technology didn't exist when we were born, and then it was given to us,
right?
And then we kind of got lost in that.
Yeah.
And now I think we're at a point where we've really kind of figured it out, and we're not letting it take control of us. We're more of in control of what technology can do for us.
And we're the examples of it, right? And like all the mistakes that whether it was us or whether it was social media has made, or just all this technology now, all these kids now, like your brother or whatever, they're watching us, right?
They are.
They're learning and observing on all of this, and they're learning from all of our mistakes, so that they're growing up. And I mean, you know, I feel like everybody in the room can attest to this. Like, have seen what 2-3-year-old kids playing with tablets or whatever. Like
crazy, bro.
Everyone really bashes it, but in reality, like they're gonna be so far ahead of. They already are.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just all about giving them that balance, and it's up to us and the generation ahead of us or whatever to make sure that these kids are because for us it was our reality, but for them their reality is technology everywhere all the time. Consume.
Yeah, it's a good thing,
which is good for you guys, you know, because you guys can.
It's good for the future. That's the most exciting part. It's like, I think again is we're the backbone,
because these kids are growing up, like, kind of going back to social media, because I think like it's like a big influence on whatever content we see nowadays. Like that's how people get content. Like when, like, I think Facebook was formed in like when we were in like elementary school, or like Twitter came out.
My mom told me not to go on MySpace.
MySpace was the thing.
Oh, there's creepers on there. Don't do it.
Like it's just the way the internet's grown, even in our lifetimes. Just like because we're like the internet generation almost of like the World Wide Web was founded like in our lifetimes, and like there are kids now who've just only known a world where the World Wide Web is a thing. Like they did, like you guys remember dial-up, right?
Oh yeah.
Kids now, kids nowadays are just like, what's the Wi-Fi password? Like automatically, they don't have to be like, Mom.
Your iPhone legit will share the Wi-Fi password to someone else with an iPhone.
On your iPhone, come on. Like I mean, that's groundbreaking. That's so crazy.
Instead of being like, Mom, can you like no one call anyone for 30 minutes? I gotta look up something on the internet. Like it's just crazy how like it's evolved like that, and like the next, like it is like I agree with what Noah's saying. Like the next generation is going to be exciting to see how this technology just keeps getting better and better and better as we move along this whole time, and the content will still be there, and just like how the content will evolve from there. It's just really exciting to see how that goes.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
You said we have a caller? Is that?
We did, but it was like a private caller, so I can't call him back or anything. So whoever
calls, call again. Call right now.
Back. Yeah.
If you're on the live stream anywhere,
call back.
Please do.
Dan, hit us with that number again, bro.
312-985-7834. Again, that's 312-985-7834.
Ladies and gentlemen, call in if you want to talk, concerns, questions, whatever, with Northside Plug, Clark Street Collective.
You already know.
Building, man.
So, and I think even just to add on to the... Oh.
Incoming call.
Hey, here we go.
Hold on, we'll answer that caller.
Caller.
Apple.
Hello, caller. Northside Plug.
Hello, you're on Northside Plug right now. Who is this?
Hi, this is Hardy.
Yo, what's up?
What's going on, Javi?
Not much. You guys doing a great job. I'm enjoying this live stream you guys putting on.
Appreciate it.
I guess I have a question for the Clark Collective for Noah and Jimmy.
Shoot. Sure.
Now, I worked with creative agency before in here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and honestly, we get a lot of interns and the young generation, like young, to be involved in the creative aspect with life. My question is, there's a lot of younger that get into the creative work that have like speculate and the fear to get into it. So my question is, what's your take on how to be involved more towards like the creative work and just getting over your creative fear, I guess, if that makes sense.
I think embrace the young. You know, I was just actually just gonna say that too. I think, you know, like one of our biggest inspirations is the young. You know what I mean? Like you gotta follow and be always on top of everybody that's doing everything. Like I mean, take notes from what people are doing. Go to creative events. You know, go to photo meetups. Go to art galleries in the city that, you know, local creatives are holding, because I think that's when you're going to truly understand the culture itself. And I think from that, once you understand the culture, and not even fully understanding it, but at least gives you a grasp on what you can do for yourself to kind of pursue and be better in that creative realm.
And like even speaking on that inspiration, you know, we look up to people that are younger than us. We see people who are creating content better than us, you know, like we see these transitions, these certain style of filmmaking and all these things, and you shouldn't be intimidated by it. You should just really want to dive in, you know, like you can't let other people or other, like a standard that you put in your head, right? Like you think it needs to look a certain way, it needs to be a certain thing. At the end of the day, you just need to put work into it, and eventually you're gonna find
push the envelope.
Exactly, you're gonna find whatever it is you want.
And even before all that, you gotta put the work into yourself.
Absolutely,
and find that self-awareness of, you know, even before, you know, you're going out and, you know, trying to put yourself in those creative realms, it's figuring out what environments, what realms are you trying to put yourself in, you know, and it's all about that soul searching and figuring out, you know, for you, Javi, you know, what is it that you want to go out, step out of the house, and what do you want to do, and who do you want to surround yourself with, you know, so it's things you got to think about, you know,
that
and
cohesive team.
Yeah, you got it, man.
Go to
like-minded people.
100%.
Go to every event. That's like,
show
honestly,
face.
I think
show face, just show up.
All about networking.
I think even one of the biggest things coming from Minnesota like 3 years ago, like one of the biggest things that got me into the creative realm was like just going to events 100%. And just like actually introducing myself and seeing what people are doing and seeing what the new wave was, and actually kind of adapt my own style into the new wave. And I think that's like the biggest thing that's helped me evolve, especially with Clark Street, is like, you know, involving those ideas that I've seen, you know, from the young community, and then also involving our own work into it. So
yeah, and I was on a call this morning with an artist. He does a lot of graffiti and just crazy visuals, and we were talking. He just says, you know what, you just have to show up and let it play out. Show up every day, put in the work, and let it play out, because you never know what's going to happen, and as long as you're just putting a little bit of effort every day, those little things add up.
The energy is a weird thing. The world's energy is a weird thing. But I mean, how does that answer your question? Like, I mean, like, what? How
I appreciate the wisdom on this Thursday, and you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you
so much. We appreciate that,
as well as this podcast.
I appreciate it.
You guys doing the work and the wisdom out.
And honestly, it's not even wisdom. It's just us learning things. I mean, yeah, I guess it is wisdom. So that's just us learning things from other people.
We're learning every day, and we're happy and open to be sharing everything we've learned, because it's not like it's just us. You know, everyone goes through it, and if we can help you understand something, or it helps ourselves.
It's how you pivot. You know, and that's what the biggest thing I would say to any creative is how you pivot.
You can't grow as a person if you aren't willing to learn in any aspect of anything. I think you always have to be willing to be open to learning and open to criticism, or else you'll just stay in one place. And I think whether it's creative, whether it's anything else you do, like, you gotta just take criticism and take advice, and always be open to learning more about different things, or else you're gonna kind of just keep running in place.
If you cease to learn,
and even staying in that place, my guy, like, being able to have that, as long as you're reflective, you know what I mean? Like, being able to be conscious of, like, what you're looking for, what you're trying to do, what your skill set is, what you're trying to build. It's pertinent to be able to be conscientious of those things, because in the midst of it, you know what I mean, going along with a whole collective, not being on, like, everybody being on the same page, you know what I mean, it is just as important as any individual goal, which will lead to the completion of any individual goal through the completion of that collective effort, you know what I mean? Hence why we have these 4 gentlemen, potentially 5 gentlemen, sitting in front of us right now, because they all have that singular goal that they're working towards, you know what I mean? Just finding those like-minded people, surrounding yourself with people.
Learn and grow together all day.
I got a question for Javi. Since we appreciate your intrigue in this. What is it that you're trying to get yourself into, or situation that you're trying to put yourself into?
I personally asked that question because I work with a creative agency in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I met Clark's Collective through Adidas Modern Noiri. I don't know how to say it.
Modern Noiri, yeah.
Oscar, that's the whole
Right, and I personally work with my company hires a lot of interns, and just young. So personally, I just like that the wisdom that I got at the moment is great to just give back and share it with others and to the creative work.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
We appreciate your question, my man.
Right. So I appreciate the wisdom. I do photography and cinematography on the side. So
and if you ever
and just know, like, at the end of the day, you can't do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. And if you ever have questions, if you are concerned about where you're going, what's next, how to work with other creatives, just hit us up. Slide in the DM.
Yeah, actually, we're always open. Just come to our office, man. 1932 South Halstead. Like, if you come through, man, we will show you anything, and we will be there for you all the way through your entire journey and mission. Like, that is guaranteed facts. Like, all you got to do is just hit us up and let us know.
Closed mouth, don't get fed.
Always. Yeah, for sure, man. We're here to help the community and help to grow, like, the creative culture. So let us know.
I appreciate it. You guys enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. Yeah, good one.
Shouts out. Thanks, Javi.
Glad you could take something out of this. Appreciate you, man.
You guys down to take one more call?
Yeah, we trying to take a million calls, boy. We trying to call all night.
All right.
Justino.
All right, we missed a call while we were talking to Javi. So whoever, whatever the 773 number is that tried to call in, and whoever the 619 is that called way earlier when we said going live, can you just call them straight up? All right, we're calling you back.
Calling you back. That's what let's not play for the people.
I didn't know we just called you. I didn't know we could call you. I don't know how the Skype thing works.
Yeah, it's through Skype.
Hello there. You're on Northside Plug. You called earlier?
I did. Hi, Northside Plug.
Hey,
hello.
Hey.
You should know this voice. We gotta switch it up with some female energy.
That's what's up.
Absolutely. How can we do that?
It's Tiffany.
Hey,
what up, Tiffany?
I knew it was. I was like, hold up a second. I know this voice.
First and foremost, Northside Plug. Shout out to you guys. Haven't heard of you, but you guys are grinding, doing your thing.
Hey,
love the show now.
Appreciate it.
I'm Tiffany from the North Side.
Yo.
All right, so we gotta switch it up. Have the female energy. This is quick fire round, okay?
Appreciate
I'm taking control of this podcast.
Of course.
The stream right now. All right.
Let's get it.
Noah?
Yeah, let's go.
I have a few questions for Clark Street Collective, all right? You guys are doing your thing. Noah, is a hot dog a sandwich? Why or why not?
No, it's not. It's its own thing.
Oh, God, I'm from
It's its own
Minnesota.
thing.
I mean, I made a hot dog peanut butter and jelly sandwich today, so like, I don't know. I call it a
They call it
sandwich.
a hot dog bun.
Okay. Tiffany, throw it on
Get my
me.
word in.
She said it.
Okay, so Noah, is a hot dog a sandwich? Why or why not?
Oh, see, again, I'm from Minnesota. I'm not even Chicago. Like,
Oh my God.
answer.
That's behind the camera.
Yeah.
John from Chicago. What's your favorite thing about Chicago?
John from Chicago. Tiffany wants to know, what's your favorite thing about Chicago? Come talk in the mic.
The weather, he says. He says the weather. I don't know how anybody would ever answer
All
that.
right, let's go. Mitch,
I like
how
the
do you
summer.
feel about pineapple on pizza?
Pineapple on pizza, Mitch.
No.
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 And I'm gonna go and say
Pizza
One
on
sentence or
pineapple.
So, Jimmy, how would you sum up the internet?
How would I sum up the internet? Memes.
True. Wow. What a
Memes.
answer.
actually one of our most recent clients just started doing that, and that's like the worst thing I can ever like do not put memes on your social media. Like if you are a business, do not do that.
Well, how
Like,
would you summarize it then? Like a meme is to get the best point across in like the shortest amount of time, correct?
I think it's funny, and I think
It's a weird look for like a serious business.
yeah, no, don't. Memes are whack.
All right, so scratch that idea. No side plug.
the internet is a way to connect.
Yeah, I agree with
A
Jamie.
way
on
to
that.
connect.
And I think that's what it's opened up for. I think it's opened up the realm of people being able to connect to each other, and again, just influence their own ideas, like, which I think is cool. Everybody has an opinion now. A lot of people will bash that, but I think at the end of the day, like, that's what we need in the culture, is we need people's opinions. And that's really what creates movements. So I think, the internet's definitely helped out with in tremendous ways.
Opinions backed by action.
Yeah, definitely.
Well said. Very well said. Well, shout out.
Sorry, that was Jimmy's question.
Shout out Tiffany, we love you.
Yeah, too much love.
I have a question for you.
When are you gonna see us next?
So, are you a brown bag lunch or like the Target plastic bag lunch? You know, like, what's your thing?
Good question.
What's my thing?
Like, when you were a kid, did you have the brown paper bag or did you have the Target bag, plastic bag?
Oh no, I was sent off to school with money, honey. I went to Catholic.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Being passed out to Tiffany, bro. She ain't have to bring no lunch. Come on now.
Okay, Tiffany. I knew I liked you for some reason. No, actually, shout out Tiffany. We are Gemini and birthday buddies. June 7th. Shout out to June 7th babies.
I had a lunchbox.
Right.
I don't know what the hell's wrong.
I had a lunchbox.
Brown bag, your boy.
Brown bag.
Brown bag was popping, G.
The brown bag is my favorite.
There's
Come on.
nothing wrong with
I
that.
was like, Mom, can I please have the brown bag?
If you had a sandwich in a brown bag, I
That was sad. That's like jail
I
stuff.
guarantee you it's gonna taste better than if it were in a Target lunchbox.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Coming from a kid that had a
Plastic
lunchbox.
bag.
True. I can't say anything.
Any other questions for Northside Plugged or Clark's G Collective, Tiffany?
No, you guys, great job all around, gentlemen. You did a fantastic job tonight. I had to wake up at 5 a.m. for the clinic, so good job.
Oh,
Thank you for
shout
tuning
out
in.
you,
Thank you so
Tiffany.
much.
We love
Thank you.
for real.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the female.
Have a good night,
positive
guys.
energy.
I'll see
You too.
you
We'll try to
too.
break
Get
down
some rest, all
female
right?
energy.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Cool, Tiffany.
Shout out
Just to say,
Tiffany.
cool.
I love those calls, man. Loving all the calls. Hey, anyone else want to tune in?
Anybody else? This is your last chance.
Oh, you said the unknown call. I was gonna say call.
You got an unknown call.
Rudy, if you're listening, send a call in. We want to hear from you.
Rudy.
We got it.
At 312-985-783.
Oh,
Baby.
So
312 all day.
one of the things I wanted to get into this a little bit. We talked a little bit before the show. One of the things that you guys have been working on is you've been doing a lot of festivals. You did a lot of festivals over the summer, right?
Oh, yeah.
For what was it, attendee.com? Is that right?
Attendee.com, yeah.
They're actually having a big release. In 2 days? Halloween.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they were one of the first clients we had that really, gave us the opportunity to create what we wanted and go into a festival and just slap it around, and Midge can talk about this, but Boston Calling was the first festival that we were flown out to and produce a whole weekend worth of content.
Shouts out Beantown, baby.
For real, shout out B-Town. But that's intense work, You're there for all day. It's early morning, late nights, and then you're editing at night. We're turning around a video the next morning to really capitalize. Because with festivals, if you're not honing in on and just getting all the edits done and out right away, it's almost irrelevant.
Didn't it feel more real?
Yeah.
No, I can speak on that too. Even good.
We were even our goal was to get it out as quick as possible. We were beating the actual festival for getting content out.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
And I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, even at like Michelada Fest with Fernando, like that was like people came to us and they're like, "Holy shit! Like you guys left at 10. Or sorry, shoot, you guys left at 10 o'clock, and you guys had a video ready by 8 a.m. Like, how do we compete with that? Like, you can't. Like it's almost impossible because."
And stay up all night. That's how it happened.
You stay up all night. And
yeah, people legit came up to us and were like, "Hey, I saw the first day recap and I came here because of that."
And that's huge.
And with that, that makes us feel good. Like, hey, our work's actually valuable. And also because they said that, we put you in the next video.
True, yeah.
But and it just puts value in what you do. I mean, there's so many times as a creative where you're beaten down and you feel like, oh man, I shouldn't be putting this much time into this. And again, it's just going to be above and beyond on every project you get, because that really does show what you're capable of as a creative. And I recommend that to anybody. Is just like, seriously, put it all out there.
Yeah,
be the best.
And like, I think the number one thing you can take from festivals or just work in general is you have to have a fast turnaround. If you're not getting it done quick, efficiently and a good product, you're sleeping on yourself.
You miss your opportunity.
A couple days later, a week later, it's not relevant.
It's not relevant.
Exactly.
2 days later, it's
Doesn't
not
matter.
relevant
anymore. Yeah.
It's all about right
attention
now.
Span we were talking about.
Yeah.
People's attention spans are smaller than goldfish now. You gotta get them now. They like when they're thinking about it, or when it's happening, before like a couple weeks later when it's just already gone past them.
Especially if you see a live like an IG post, you're like, oh man, I want to go to this event. And if it's posted, 2 weeks later, you're not going to that event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're not going to the event. Like so, if you have it on the day of, that's much more magical for everybody.
Now, do you have anything to say on music artists and the mentality between a talented hobbyist and a dedicated artist? Not necessarily as talented, but someone who's putting out the content, like the differentiator, I would say.
Man, I think they're both the same thing. Honestly, it's just the person that just wants to take the business side of it, and I think that's it. At the end of the day, is it's a hobby or it's a business.
Right.
If you want to put the business side into it, you will be a business.
Getting into the music, I wanted to hit on this because you guys there's been a couple of different festivals. As a musical show based music, we kind of are usually based in music in it. And I'm just curious to hear are there any artists to you guys who have stood out to you at these festivals, and what makes them stand out to you? As just whether it's their stage presence.
Yep, that's it. Right there.
Stage presence is everything.
Stage presence is
number one.
I've never really
Number
been to
one.
a festival, like a multiple day kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like when I went, the only one I've been to is Coloring Day. Do you guys remember that?
No.
It was when Chance had that at
Okay.
That's the only one I've been to, but it was just a 1 day thing. But I feel like the way I got pulled into some artists is just how they presented themselves on the stage and the energy they brought.
That is
I feel
everything.
that's just huge.
I remember I saw Tiesto. I don't know if you guys are familiar with EDM and whatnot, but Tiesto I followed since I was 6. He was Bass Hunter, Tiesto, Hardwell, all the original EDM artists. I remember I saw Tiesto for the first time live, and he was the most boring artist I've ever seen. But it killed me. And then I see Little Uzi Vert, and I see Dexter, and I see all these people.
Little Uzi Vert, that's who
crazy
stood
man.
out to me at
And they run across the stage, and they have so much energy, and they really involve their culture. Even Travis Scott, you see him pulling people out of the crowd to actually help the crowd, and I think that's such a cool thing because that is what performance is. Performance is stage presence. I mean that's just at a whole. You know what I mean?
It's all the fans' experience.
It's an experience.
For an artist, you you can speak on it as when you're doing it so much, you kind of take it for granted, right?
Absolutely.
But for all those fans, and especially that fan that's brought onto that stage, that's something they're gonna remember for the rest of their
Forever.
life.
They're gonna love you till the day they die.
110%. I think Little Uzi Vert
back.
is the best. Okay. One of the best performances I've seen in so long because of his stage presence. Yeah, it's not even the music. I'm not solely involved with that music, but I think
you get into it more because of what he
100%.
does as a performer. You know what I mean? And I can speak on Dexter, his style as an artist.
He's so wild.
He's a wild person in person though too. He's crazy.
Oh, he's so fun in person.
Yeah,
Our favorite festival, I mean, me personally at least, was Lyrical Lemonade.
Oh, great.
Summer. It's all the hottest people.
Cole Bennett lived a town away from, he's been the standard.
Yeah, absolutely. He changed the game when it came to music video. Yeah, absolutely. And that whole show, it's just nonstop fun.
Nonstop.
And we were working for Revolution Cannabis in the Artist Lounge. So we're literally next to every top artist that's at the show.
And Dex is wild.
Dex, I was shooting an interview with one of their hosts, and he was talking about, we're here at Lyrical Lemonade with Rev Canna, and Dexter just runs by and totally messes up our shot, and he's just messing with the cops over there, and it was so funny.
He's just a real he's just a real person. He's so with it. You don't see that anymore because there's so much clout, and I think it kind of clouds who they are as an artist. And I think there's the real artists that separate themselves from that by giving that stage presence, and they give themselves in the personal realm of who they actually are as a person. So,
and that exemplifies the several different avenues that you can take on the way to success. You know what I mean? You have the Kendricks of the world who would take years to drop a single, a project, because they're that perfectionist that knows that they need They need that, like, every single track to just hit for them to be pleased as an artist to release. Or they're just rapid fire, man. You got another mixtape, got another track every other week just to, like, show that, like, I'm out here doing my thing. This is who I am. And you got a whole range in between, and then some, you know what I mean? The range extends from that. Like, we still have different archetypes of artists and performers and creatives who still haven't even split open the envelope as to what it means to be like that full encompassing artist, that full encompassing creative that just has that energy and that quality and just that experience behind them. And it's like, you know, it could come all the way down from someone being tendered to be that way, or someone who's just like seriously that hungry.
I even got one artist on that too, like that just got on my feed now, and her name's BB Jones.
Female energy.
Female stylist, and I think like stage presence and presence in general is one of the biggest things, and I think she's taught me that. And I think in general, like, she's a stylist, but the way she represents herself in every time I've met her, she just like completely makes the environment so friendly, so inviting. And I think that's even for us when we go into gigs, is like, if we can create that experience with a client, that's when you have a lasting experience. Right. And I think that's the biggest thing that we've taken away from any gig, is like, if you can create a really good environment, you're going to have a lasting client that lasts forever. So
they're going to tell everybody, like, hey, I had the coolest time with Clark Street. Like, we were just shooting photos, but I it felt like I was in a movie. And I felt like I was a part of the whole process, you know?
Definitely.
How would you describe the Northside Plug experience?
Northside Plug experience is great. You guys are amazing at just keeping the conversation going, hitting with good questions.
I'm glad we had some calls. That's
and the calls were good. That was the first.
We started calls like a month ago.
Okay.
Because like no one has ever called in, and we got where we're like, oh my god, we got to start calling. What do we do? Like, what do we do? Justin was like, oh, I hope this button works. And we're like, hello? Is this Northside Plug? And I was like,
I was supposed to be the first caller, bro, and they snubbed me, bro.
Really?
I was so blown. I was in Texas.
Not G-Money, bro.
I was in Texas, and Justin was like, hey, yo, call in, bro. We're going to answer your call. You're going to be the first caller. I was all excited. I was with my whole family. It was my niece's first birthday, bro.
That's the experience, though. You involve the people.
Yeah.
It's the culture.
Yeah, man. So
money for that experience.
Sorry, G1.
But yeah, no, it's super dope.
And then call in.
I was telling one of my friends earlier just how we connected in the first place, and it was really cool that you guys had reached out when we were at WGAC. You guys were one of the first people that we didn't know, you know, to reach out and be like, hey, we want to be on your platform. And for us, like, that was really heartwarming and really dope, you know.
Absolutely.
Especially, it's not just one person, it's a whole collective. You know? And for y'all to reach out and want to be a part of what we're doing, and I just feel like both collectives really mesh well together, you know.
Absolutely.
It's really cool,
especially with the mentality, you know what I mean?
100%.
Like, we're all in the same mindset here.
Learn and grow together.
Like, with our ability to like learn how to like draw more out of our guests, just the fact that like y'all have so much to just talk about, you have so much going on, you know what I mean? Like, like, just kind of like the last collective we interviewed, you know what I mean? Like, each individual just had so much to talk on, you know what I mean? They all have their own individual like archetypes and facets that like that help like accumulate to what the collective
bring it all
represents.
together.
Nah, we're just getting started, man. Like, that's the best part about it. Like, we hit highs and lows, but we're still
so much more to come from both Clark Street
So
and
fresh.
Northside Plug.
So fresh.
A lot coming up. A lot is coming. That's what's the beauty.
And we're fresh.
And clean. You know?
So fresh and so
and we
clean.
look good.
I'm a little dirty.
Get your dirty man. Get your dirty Come on, man. But no, that's crazy, man. Just how it all comes together at the end of the day, you know. And it makes me happy to see your guys' growth just as much as, you know, our growth, and for it to all come full circle. Back over here, I was talking to Jimmy before the show started. You know, Jimmy had hit me up. He was like, hey man, this was like a year ago, like sometime in June. He was like, yo, you know, we're trying to get back onto Northside Plug. And I was just like, man, you know, we're in a tough spot right now. We don't have a spot at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And we were in the same spot, you know?
Yeah. So it's just like, it's all about, it's the testament of seeing the vision and pulling it through and wanting to see yourself, back at where you are, you know, and even in those low spots, that's where the vision is the truest, because that's where you're crafting and trying to get back to where you were or where you know that you're supposed to be, you know. So we're all supposed to be here right now, living it up. Clark Street Collective on Northside Plug, you know.
Northside Plug, CSC.
100%. Well, what can we expect from Clark Street Collective coming in the short term and the long term future?
2020.
2030.
You're gonna see a whole new everything going in 2020. We're gonna start fresh.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna see things that you haven't before. But really, it's just honing in on what we're good at. You know, how we can help the community. I think we'd like to dive more into, you know, hands-on events, more on the education side, like we were speaking on earlier. But it takes time. You know, we have to build our own business before we can help anybody at the end of the day. So it's just grinding out at this new spot, trying to get more peer space, people. You know, you can rent out our studio if you need a spot. And the cool part is that when you come and shoot at our places, we're there. So we're hands-on. If you need help, if you have questions, and even just if you want to see our workflow, you know, like that's I think super valuable to other people.
That's one thing that I wanna talk on a little bit, is just like how you guys operate and like your description of what your workflow is like and how it's developed over time.
Oh man, I think it was such a struggle for the longest time figuring out who does what. Right. What's your role? And we're finally at a place where we feel really comfortable at where we're at. Not that that's a good thing, but we feel comfortable in each of our roles that we can start taking on more.
Start worrying
you
about
know,
other things.
Noah's been crushing the sales game. And with him taking more lead on that, I've been able to focus more on the marketing side of Clark Street. So that's where we can really start putting out content that we believe in, that we resonate with.
Yeah.
And, you know, John over here, you see him in the back, he's holding it down. He's getting all the things that we need to on the regular. And Mitch over here, he's silent but deadly. We're not talking about farts.
But I think having that structure is what really makes you a bigger company, and I think it makes it more real too. Like, I think until we found our structure, and I think that's even the beginning phases when we actually found our LLC, I think we started placing those things. But I'm always the one that says, like, as a leader, that like you should be put in positions where you're uncomfortable. 100%. And I think that's when you truly learn the most. And I think that's what we've learned as a collective. I think is like, you know, we can put ourselves in positions that we're not too good at, but we can get better over time. And I think that's what we are each other. And I think that's, again, learning and growing together is the biggest thing that we've tried to push on anybody, is that like when you have that, the sky's the limit, because not only are you perfecting the business, you're perfecting the personal life, and I think you're perfecting this, you know, who you are as a person. And I think even for us, like, that's something that I've learned, is how to be a better salesman, how to be a better, you know, in production, how to be a better producer, you know, I mean, whatever it is, like those positions that I've been put in that I'm not comfortable in have made me a stronger individual as a whole. And I think that's even, you know, that crosses over into my real life, even when with my relationships, my conversations, everything. And I think you just have to take those steps in order to actually be the best business, is to be put in a position that you're not comfortable in, and take the structures that you're not, you know, again.
And like, the thing is, we want to do everything. We're creative, all of us. We love creation, and to take a step back and be like, you know what, I can let go of maybe being the cinematographer. I can let someone else do that, and maybe I'll just direct it. Maybe you know, Mitch is gonna edit the piece now, John's gonna shoot the piece, and I'm just gonna make sure that the pieces come together. You know, it's letting go of all of it, because I think as creatives, you want to you're very controlling. You have your vision. You want to just like make sure it's done right, and it's like I'm gonna do it right. So why do I need anybody else? And it's learning to balance that and really let go of certain pieces, and know that other people can take care of it, even if they don't do it to what you want fully. You know, they're gonna learn from that experience. You know, like, you're gonna help push them into a new way.
And it's also like, with that being said, it's the accountability of making sure that you're doing your part. You know, you're not stepping on each other's toes, and you know, you don't. When you're in a collective, you don't of course you're gonna fail and you're gonna make mistakes and whatever, but it's limiting.
Oh, hopefully, yeah.
You know, it's limiting those flaws, and at the end of the day, you don't want to let down your people. You know, you don't want to let down the people, because if one part of it sinks, it all sinks. You know.
And even with that, when it sinks, we have other people backing us up to back us up. Like, I mean, like that's the biggest thing of a collective, and that's why I always say to everybody to work together, is because like when one person fails, not even fails, when there's opportunity in the business, you have 4 other people there to back up the business. You know what I mean? And that's when you really have a strong business. And I think that goes with any business. Like, you always have the strongest leaders are the people that can identify that and put those people in that part, and you know, have the team around them to back them up in any endeavor that they cross as a business.
Because we all struggle, every single one of us, and as a business we struggle. But if like they see that, you know, and no one's gonna be like, hey, I got you. Whatever you need.
You know what I mean? Your followers.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if I can't help, I'm just like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
Even if I can't help, let's just talk about it, and maybe that'll help you feel a bit better after that. You know, and that's so valuable.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, your hardest critics, like, while they're gonna be yourself, like, they will also be, you know, seemingly, while they're the fan base, they're also the ones that are gonna be behind you, being like, look, like, we are just as human as you are.
Absolutely.
We're here for what you guys have to offer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the surprises that you will notice that from.
What's the number one more time?
312
Oh, 312
985
985
7834.
34.
Spin that dial.
Call it right now.
I haven't written it down.
I think we got a new caller.
We might have another caller.
It's right there.
Let me have that.
Before we have the caller, going back to what we were talking about, I feel like just as being a creative in whatever it is that you're doing, it's all about having comfortability and vulnerability.
Oh
right?
yeah.
You know, and with vulnerability, you're putting out your mistakes, you're putting out your flaws, but it's that showing that, going back to what Justin said, that, you know, we're just as similar as the same as you, the fan or whatever. You know, the producer and the consumer are together. Right? Yeah. So
it looks like everything's like we're always moving, we're always doing these big things, but the reality is every day we're just there grinding and struggling through it. But at the end of the day, when you have a team, it's not that bad.
it ain't bad. Ring a ring.
All right, thank you for calling, folks. You're on Northside Plug.
What it do?
Yo.
BB.
What up, BB?
Yo.
How we doing?
What's up, BB? You on Northside?
This is my fam. This is my everything.
Good. What's going on, Clark Street, baby?
Oh, you know we out here.
Heard.
How you feeling? What you got to say? What you got on your mind?
Any questions?
You know, basically, I just want to call and show my support because I really believe in everything that they're doing. You know, I love everything that they have going on. Like, it's just the synergy that they project into, you know, the community, into the creative community, into, you know, basically our world here in Chicago is really good energy. And I really love working with them, and I know we're going to have even more dope projects coming up, you know, definitely in the future. So I just wanted to call and just show my love and support.
Much love to you, BB. If you need a stylist, hit her up. She's the girl for your needs.
True.
That's right. That's right. Meet me up, man. I'm the stylist, and they are the shooters. So let's get it going, y'all.
And I was even going to say, me and BB just actually worked recently, and I will tell you, like, the education and everything she brings into my life is so valuable. Every time I've been with her, it's insane. Like, even just having food on the table for the artist, like that's something like so bare minimal, but like
it's huge.
It creates such a good environment.
It sounds like there's just way too much depth going on right now.
Yeah, no, BB is my heart and soul. So she's so much shout out.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And it's all about iron sharpen iron. You know, like if you to work with other creatives, it's really to kind of like sharpen each other and make for sure that each creative is on their A game, you know, because it only makes our community that much stronger here in Chicago. So, you know, we won't have to worry about moving out into like New York and LA, and that as long as we keep our teams here strong, then I think we're good.
Yeah.
All day.
Hey, BB.
Yeah, but Yeah.
I was gonna say, what's it called? This is G Money from Northside Plug. You got a great vibe. We would love to have you to come on the show and talk about what you're up to and what you're doing, who BB is, you know.
You know, I'll see if I can have some of my people contact you.
Hey, that's the big I love.
The three of us will be contacted. We're our own people.
Yo, she's the go-to stylist in Chicago.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. I would love to grace grace the microphone and see, you know, what the vibe is like in the studio. I don't mind that.
For sure, 100%. Well, you got anything else you want to say to Clark Street?
No, everybody keep being great what's in their room, and I wish everybody much success, and let's get it. It's Q4, let's close it out strong.
Yes, let's close it out strong.
Too much facts. Thank you so much.
Love.
We love you. Like,
take care. Everybody get home safe.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
All right.
All right, take care.
Have a good night.
So
we might have one more. I don't know.
Another one?
Another one.
Happy be
I'm
singing
here and
another
I'm ready
caller.
for it.
We're here all night.
I don't know.
Do you guys have anything in the works that you want to hint at to a little bit, get the people
They did a little. They did a little bit when you took a break.
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple new series coming out in 2020 highlighting artists in the community. We're going to be opening a new podcast soon. So that's going to be new.
Podcast coming
Yeah, we did one. It was probably around the time you were doing it, maybe even longer ago. We had a podcast too, working out of 1871, and we just kind of moved away from it. But I think it's valuable to just talk and keep it open and just get other people in. When you're talking like that, there's so much comes out of it.
100%.
So true.
Obviously you don't want too many people, but at the same time, it's just like having a collective of people that, just what the show is, what's going on literally right now. We all have something to say. We're all different perspectives. It all bounces off each other so well, So whatever you guys do and whenever you guys do, it's gonna be dope. 100%.
Appreciate that, bro.
You're gonna have to come back and promote your podcast.
Done. We'll have you guys on the podcast.
I'm so
From the
down,
guest
bro.
perspective, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Swap.
It's happening soon. Yeah, the artist spotlight is definitely going to be the next big wave for us. So that's going to be the coolest thing. But I think anything I can say to the creative is honestly, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to fail. I so many times we speak with creatives and they talk about securities. Drop the securities. If you need to make money, you can work at McDonald's or you can Uber.
Yeah.
Or you can,
so many ways.
There's so many ways you can make money now. And honestly, the money is the least of the issues. The biggest thing is be happy with who you are as a person. Right. And, go with your endeavors. Be the person you want to be in your life. And if you can do that, screw money. Honestly.
There's no better time to be your own boss than right now.
And we're young.
We're about to hit 2020. We're in the future. Why are you living out these old type of ways? Just do you, man.
And you're young. If you're in your 20s, 30s, even 40s,
still young.
Take the risk before you have kids, before you're married.
Step away from college, and I'll say this: the thing that made me step away from college is watching all these 30 and 40-year-olds taking the same classes that I was, taking it so much more seriously than all these bums around me that fun that they're ready, bro. And it's just man, this, I can appreciate what it is, but this is not for me right now. It's something I have to do right now. And if it comes to a point where college is what I need, then that's great. But you know what I mean? There's the format is not set for anybody. Nobody needs to follow anything. Just do what you are trying to do and surround yourself with people who are trying to do the same thing, man. And just constantly try and learn and humble yourself. You know what I mean? You gotta
learn together, grow together.
And I even think college is honestly just and I'm not one that speaks for everybody, but I think college is just additional education. Right. It's additional knowledge for yourself as a human. Don't use that as your foundation. Use your skills as your foundation.
Exactly.
And I think that's the biggest thing people need to figure out.
I can speak on the whole college thing because I did go to college and I studied film production and marketing, and the whole time I had no idea what was going on. I was just kind of doing what I was supposed to do. And it wasn't until the end of college and moving into graduation that I was officially on my own, and it was up to me. Either I can all the time they're like, oh, go to LA, go start at the bottom and with a producer and work your way up. I was just like, nah, that's just not about me. That's just not what I'm about. And instantly I just started figuring out ways to make money with video and to find people who need my skill set and that I can create and produce videos that I like, and other people actually need that. You know, I didn't even realize that I can create little, you know, lifestyle videos or documenting someone or like even just YouTube style. Anything's possible. Like of one example is every year they have an orientation video, and essentially it would be, you know, these orientation leaders introduce all of them, and then at the end of it you would know, okay, that's my orientation leader, I gotta go meet with them. And I underbid the people who were always doing it, and I got the gig. Right out of graduation, I got a gig with the college I was with because I put myself out there and I was like, hey, I can do this better and cheaper. And boom, instantly I have my first client.
My take on college, because similar to Jimmy, we both went to Loyola.
Shout out.
Shout out this.
Go Blurs, baby.
You know, coming from somebody that I personally always hated school. Not the social aspect.
I mean, same, man.
You know,
same.
Of course you have your social what's it called, challenges and whatnot, but I always just hated the structure of school and feeling almost inferior because you had to do things a certain time and this, that, and whatever, right? But my takeaway from it all, and you know, just from a musical artist perspective, bro, similar to what you're saying, Jimmy, is like we gotta call. Alright, we're gonna call.
Oh man, that's lots of
Man, that is annoying.
Caller, you're on Northside Plug. What it do?
Hello.
What's good?
It's
How are you guys tonight?
Swell, man. What's your name?
Doing lovely, man.
Tucker, man.
What's up, Tucker?
It's Tucker, man. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Tucker? This is my boy from Minnesota. He's been watching me on my journey since day one.
That's dope.
Watched me from PacSun even.
Hell yeah. Sundays.
Yeah, no, he was actually one of my. Yeah, I mean, we worked a long time ago, so he's watched me throughout this entire journey.
That's dope. Those are the real ones.
You got any questions for us?
Yeah.
North?
I mean, what are you guys up to? What's good? How's the band doing?
Good, bro. Good. Just grinding, doing our thing, one day at a time. But you know, I think the biggest thing is, we're just grinding, bro. Like we just got our first studio, our first like actual brick and mortar type deal going. So that's huge for us. Pushing steadily but slowly with, you know, bigger and newer clients, which is huge for us. And yeah, just learning, bro. That's the biggest thing. Even from Minnesota coming to Chicago, it's like just taking every step I can to be the best person. So learning a lot about myself too, which is huge.
I feel that, man. Especially starting up a new business and everything, you definitely find a lot of stuff that you probably didn't know about yourself, like growing and learning everything.
Hell yeah, bro. Heck yeah, it's even worked with my relationship. I mean, for real. Like, I think running a business has made me the best person I could ever be. That's for sure.
Amen.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. So you guys just based out of Chicago? You guys plan on like bouncing off into different areas here, doing it all?
That's the $1 million question. Honestly, I want to come back to Minnesota and do some work over there. So if you got any clients or anything that are over there, you know, people that are looking for video or photo, let me know, because we will definitely be over there. We are definitely willing to expand.
I know a lot of people trying to pop off in Minnesota, man. I know a lot of people that are trying to do a lot of different things, and videography, photography, all of that, graphic design is needed.
That's dope.
Let me know, man. Honestly, even knowledge, like that's the biggest thing that we can give to anybody. So yeah, like if we can help out in any way, man, especially myself, don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, just give us a couple of years and we'll be all over the United States. Don't worry.
No, heck yeah, I like the confidence.
It's happening. I want to be international by
what are you guys focusing on there right now? Like what type of, like, are you trying to get just every demographic, or? Are you guys like specific demographics that you're working with?
I think we're working with every type of demographic. I think like our biggest thing is really just pushing the shorter videos and kind of, I guess, like the social realm of things, more or less than your typical commercial, your typical photography. Like we really just want to push the new realm of what content can look like for a business.
Yeah, and really helping out the newer brands, the startups like ourselves. People who they need the help and they can't afford a major production to produce that, but we can be the people by your side, walking along with you through your journey, because when we're helping you, you're helping us.
I like it. I like that aspect. I like it. How are you guys promoting this? Like, how are you guys advertising and promoting yourself out there? Like, I know you guys on social media all the time.
Word of mouth. That's honestly, I feel like most of our clients have came from word of mouth. That's the biggest thing, and I think it's just it's experience. I think like we just create such a good environment for everybody that works with us that it's just continued to grow since the day I moved here. Even, and I think that's what's helped us grow.
So that's a huge thing.
That's awesome.
Taking social media as like a secondary form of promotion while still having that intrinsic like face-to-face like personal interaction to be able to push your brand and your movement.
You need it.
Right. You don't want to get lost in the social media, because then you just like literally then I feel like you lose the trust in some of the people, man. Like,
absolutely.
How have you been, bro? What's new with you?
Man, I'm in Huntington Beach right now for work.
Okay.
You're in California?
Enjoying life. Yeah,
that's my favorite part of California too. You surfing or?
Right now I'm just sitting on the beach with a couple of my coworkers. We got a bottle of tequila. We have a bonfire going.
That's the life, man.
I'm just kicking it.
Well, shit.
Wait until it hits about
Have a cold one for us, all right?
Yeah, take a few sips for me, bro, for sure. But hey, if you're ever in Chicago, man, let's definitely link. Let's get together, and I would love to show you what we're doing as far as a business as well. So.
Please, man, I would love to learn a little bit more about it too. And if you come back to Minnesota at all, just let me know.
I got you, man.
I got you on anything.
Definitely, bro. Definitely. Much love, always.
Thank you for your call, man.
Appreciate it, Tucker.
Thank you guys for letting me call in.
Definitely, man.
No problem. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Yeah, good luck with the band, man.
Peace.
Appreciate it.
Cool. I remember.
Yes.
So, going back to what's it called, to school.
Right back into it.
Right back into it, ladies and gentlemen. I was, just like coming from the perspective of an artist going through college, and literally becoming an artist through college. It was weird because I went into school with a sports management degree. That's what I finished with, and even with that avenue, I didn't necessarily know what I was getting myself into, right? And I feel like that's the case with a lot, if not the majority of kids, is that we're all going to school unless you know that you want to be like a doctor or whatever. You don't know what you're getting yourself into, So I feel like at the end of the day, the thing about school is you got to make the most of that opportunity.
Absolutely.
And I feel like some people, like for example, for Justin, for him, especially like him and I were roommates, like he went all out and grinded and did what he had to do, but in doing that he realized like, yo, this isn't for me, whereas for myself it was like I had to do it, I had to get through it, for different reasons and everything. And I feel like no matter whether if you finish or whether you don't finish, but you go through that situation, you got to take the best out of it. And you got like,
you have to.
The reason why we're here doing Northside Plugged is because I had to get an internship for school, and I was blessed to get an internship at WGFC.
And I wouldn't be here unless I had gone to college in the first place. And I was on NIU.
I almost went to St. Louis for college. And if I went there, I would have not met anybody.
Yeah.
Like I would have been a whole different direction.
Yeah. So it's just like, you can't regret, and you can't, you got to take the best of your situation, whether it is that you go to school or you don't. You got to go all in and take that risk and do what you got to do, and be confident with your decision and the ramifications of everything that comes after it.
Take the knowledge, man. Honestly, like even like one of the Def Jam records, people came to our place almost
over a year
ago. And I think I probably talked about him on the original podcast, but he said you can go a whole year without making money, but if you take on one piece of knowledge, that's the most valuable thing, and you're the richest person. And I think that's like one of the things that I've lived by since then. I think we live broke. There's days where we live, on short funds with ramen and shit like that, stuff like that. So it's like, if you can do that and you can go through all those little pivots and you take on the knowledge, bro, you're the most lethal person in the world. So 100%. That's what I got.
Knowledge is power, man.
Knowledge is power.
With that, boys,
I think we wrapped, right?
Yeah, we can wrap it up. Knowledge is power. That's the recap of the whole show. Knowledge is power, baby.
Definitely. Thanks for having me.
Do you guys have any other last questions?
Where can we find Clark Street Collective, whether it be the individuals or the entirety of the collective?
iTunes.
Google Clark Street Collective. We're on Google now. Send us a review if you've worked with us. But we're on Clark Street Collective is our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter's Clark Street Co. But most of our, just clarkstreet.co, clark.st.co. That's our website. You can find all you need on there. And stay updated on Instagram. We're all on there.
And if you guys have any business inquiries, definitely send us a message. Let us know. We're always down to work and show you what we're made of. So,
well, it was a pleasure having you, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us, for real.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Too much love.
Much love.
Hope to hear from y'all again. We'll have you on again very, very soon. As always, you guys.
You're gonna be on our podcast.
As always,
100%. Definitely. Well, big shout out, big thank you to Clark Street Collective for coming.
Big shout out to Northside Plug.
Thank you, man, 100%.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up until next week. We got our special edition Halloween episode. So tune in for some fancy costumes.
Very scary.
I gotta get spooked.
Hey, I haven't dressed up for Halloween, so I got something up for y'all.
Oh, you got something?
Yeah, I got a little something cooking up, man.
I'm bringing it Ryan next week.
Pixar didn't happen.
DJ Young.
Pixar didn't happen.
As always, make sure you follow us on all your favorite social medias. Thank you again to Clark Street. Thank you here to Q4 and everyone here. Thank you to all of our callers.
Thank you.
Yeah, shout out everyone that called in.
It was great to hear all the people were just asking us questions, just want to chop it up with us. We always appreciate those people.
Thank you for the engagement. It's growing.
And, we'll see you next week. Thank you all again for tuning in as always. And hope you have all the great weekend. This is probably like the weekend where everyone's getting like the Halloween stuff.
Get ready to tee up, baby.
So,
Everybody stay safe. Everybody have a great
safe
weekend.
out there. Stay spooky.
And we'll see you next week.
Stay spooky.
Stay spooky, stay safe. Guns down, Chicago. Northside Plug, Clark Street Collective.
Love you guys.